Suzanne. I am your fabulous host, Positively Suzanne, and I have with me in the studio, okay, the nerd in me is like, yay, yay, yay. I have Jason Homer, who is the executive director for the Worcester Public Library. Welcome to Positive Vibe Studio.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm really
I am
excited.
so excited. I am so excited. So I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna just greet everyone, and then we'll come back and do the show. So thank you all our loyal viewers and subscribers who tune in every week. We appreciate you. I know a lot of you guys get to watch it on the replay, so I appreciate that. Shout out to our executive producer Paul Anderson for making the magic happen each week. As you know, I get an opportunity to sit in the studio with incredible individuals in the community. Some were recommended to me, but I know that I connected to Jason at one event or another. I think it was the authors event. I'm like, I have to have you on the show because if you're my friend, you know I like to read. And I told the VP the other day, like, listen, like, the job is interfering with my reading time. So
It's fair. That's fair.
it's fair. Like I have to read less books now because I'm working, and
I feel that. I feel that so
like,
intensely.
don't you?
Yeah, I'm like it's my job and I can't even get to do it.
Oh my goodness! Like there's just something about a book. So the show's not about my love of books; it's about your love of books. But I could wax poetic about a book and getting lost and all these things. So we'll get to talk about it. But I really wanted to chat with you because for me, reading has been such a important part of my life, and reading for me opened so many doors and so many pathway. And like from a little girl growing up in Jamaica, just having the opportunity to read and explore like these different places, and sometimes an adult getting to visit and see those places.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know, like my mind is going wild, and I want to say to a little bit, oh my god, like I read about this when I was 5, and now I'm at the Leaning Tower Pizza, like,
Yeah.
and we used to call it pizza, but again, not my love of books, so we're gonna rate it in because I just get so excited. But welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yes, I am excited. I don't think as excited as I am, but excited that you're here. So we're gonna get an opportunity. As I mentioned earlier, you are the executive director of the Worcester Public Library. Before we get to that, I really wanted to chat with you and just find out a little bit about you. Like before the show, I found out a couple of things, that you're an Aaliyah lover. Yay.
Deeply, baby girl.
Like
Yep,
deeply,
yep,
madly. I love it.
yep.
And so let's chat. I think a lot of times we run into each other at these networking event and all of that, but it's my chance now to really get to know Jason. So welcome.
Well, I'm literally an open book.
Okay.
It's like my job, right?
Yes.
And so yeah, I've been at the Worcester Public Library for just 5.5 years,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think about. It's definitely has flown by, but I think ultimately I am someone who's just really interested in creating community where I go and helping people get the information they need. So yeah, ask me anything you want.
All right. Okay, great. Well, I was reading, I did a little stalking,
Okay.
And it said that you grew up in Brockton, and
Yes.
like I did not know. So you're a Massachusetts, New England, so cannot complain about the weather because like you've been here your whole life.
I think I'm allowed to complain.
Oh,
about
that's what it
because I've
means.
been
I
here
thought it was the
all
opposite.
day.
Okay, so because you've been here
Yes,
your whole
yes,
life,
it's-
like,
yeah,
okay.
yes,
All right. So you grew up in Brockton. What was that like? And
It was a really special place to grow up. I
Yeah.
had my family is pretty big. Not my immediate family. I have 2 older sisters who have kept me in line my whole life, and then a little brother. So good little kind of middle child, but also oldest son. But my dad is one of 13.
wow.
And is a triplet, and so I grew up with a lot of cousins.
Good God.
And they always came to my house. So I always kind of grew up in these kind of larger spaces, and that's what I really loved about being a Brockton kid. We had such amazing experiences, but it was a huge high school.
Yeah.
And I think my freshman class was like 1,200 kids.
I
in
just
one
can't
class.
fathom that.
And so one of the cool things is you can't really have I found my friends and I found my cliques and I found my spaces to be. I found my passion for art and photography in particular when I was in high school, because the high school had to have something for everyone because there were so many kids.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, it also helped me find my love for reading.
Oh.
My love for reading is actually one of the pettiest stories I'm really excited to tell you.
All
That
right, tell it.
actually,
Okay.
no, I've never publicly talked about this petty
Okay.
story,
All
so I'm
right.
very
We won't
excited.
tell anybody.
No, no, no.
Like we won't tell anybody. Go on.
It's important. This shows you, as I was not the best reader as a kid.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't like it, but because I never really like explored my own, and I never got to really explore my own. So I wasn't the best reader in the world. I was fine at it, but if I would do summer reading when I was forced to,
Yeah.
and then my senior year of high school, this is so petty of me. I'm so excited to tell you this petty story.
All right.
My friend Bobby Core, who I still talk to this day, we talk about Lego all the time.
Yeah.
He and I were sitting next to each other in our senior year English class, and I don't remember 100% what the grades were, but we were like 1 point off of each other in like a 90s something.
Yeah.
And he said, "You know, this means war." And I was like, "Yeah, it does." And so then I read every book multiple times so I'd have a perfect score so I'd beat Bobby Core. And then I was like, "Wait, I love reading." And then I became an English major. I went to Stonehill College for my undergrad, literally right next door to Brockton.
Yeah.
So I really just did not leave any level of. I didn't even try to leave for Massachusetts. I
Like,
just stayed. That's how I have the right to complain.
Like you do.
And, exactly.
You do.
And then after Stonehill, I was an English major, and I had the opportunity to teach actually at Brockton High, and I learned I hated it. Not that I hated teaching, is I did not have the ability to create the same level of excitement first period, second period, and third period about the same material. And so like when we were reading the Glass Menagerie, by the third period I was like, ugh, I hate the Glass Menagerie, like enough.
Yes, I'm done.
Enough.
Like I'm done.
So,
yeah.
But then that's what made me find libraries and said, oh, I could keep that teaching stuff that I really like, keep the English stuff I really like, but also help people with their literacy skills and help people without the kind of structured schoolwork and think about also just helping people for fun, for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's like.
Okay. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. Thank you,
Bobby. Listen.
Talk about Lego later.
Like, yes, we'll do Lego later. But, you know, if that's something that, I mean, I think in one way that it was going to get discovered, right? But to discover it that way and to continue in that vein. And, I mean, listen, Massachusetts has some of the best colleges. So, I mean, why leave? I complained, too, although I wasn't born here. But in this weather, but I'm like, every winter I'm going to move, but I'm not going to move.
Me too.
Like, I'm not going to move. I like a lot of things about Massachusetts. Yeah. So, and then I see other places and I was like, yeah, I'm staying. So.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, I did this past January when it was like -30 wind chill.
Yeah.
I booked a trip to Puerto Rico. My husband and I were like, let's just go to Puerto Rico for a couple days. And so we booked a trip within 24 hours to Puerto Rico. And I was like, sorry, I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm leaving. -30, no thanks.
I think that's allowed.
Yeah,
I think that's allowed.
That was the proudest of myself I've ever been.
No, you should be, because at that point you're like, okay, Massachusetts, like get it together.
That's too cool.
Get it together.
Yeah,
get it together. So
truly.
No, absolutely. So let me ask you, because for me, when I, as I mentioned, when I started to read early on, like I think literacy just opened a lot of doors. And I think as I've gotten older and, been in a lot of spaces and navigated a lot of spaces, not a lot of adults are not necessarily like, say, even readers, but they cannot read. And the reading level, I think, I've seen some of the statistics and I don't want to quote it in this country, is challenging to say the best.
Yeah.
So as someone who loves reading, is a lifelong teacher, how do you reconcile that, or what are you doing to advocate or challenge that?
And I think that's one of my favorite things about my role right now is really that's my focus, right? That's what I get to focus down on, because the majority of Americans cannot even read at the 6th grade level. So how do we help people, and also what are the implications of reading? How can we do the connections that we need to get? And when we're kids, a lot of how we experience the world is through play. It's through perspective taking. Even when kids play kitchen and, oh, you have to do this, I have to do this. what they're learning is perspectives, what they're learning is empathy, what they're learning is communication. And that's also something reading does to us. It teaches us about perspectives that aren't ours. It makes us think about a world that's bigger than us. And, to instantly go in on the politics piece of that is that is ultimately one of the reasons why reading is such a controversial thing right now, is because it opens our eyes to new experiences. It opens up our hearts to different ideas. It opens up the perspectives that might not be my worldview is the only worldview. And so that's the thing that we try to do at the library, and what I try to do professionally and personally is get people excited. Like, what are you interested in? And sometimes it's like an 11-year-old kid just wants to learn about worms because they saw a worm and it was gross and their mom yelled about it, and what is a worm?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with that. Let's start with the inquiry. Let's start with the curiosity, and then let's keep going from there and see what happens. And so for me, that's kind of what I'm working on, a kind of really multi-tiered front to, like, how are we getting everyone excited about reading? And sometimes I know that not all of my librarians, like I say, sometimes I'm solely sneaking in the vegetables, and but sometimes you got to sneak in the vegetables of literacy, and to get people to realize that vegetables are delicious, and that, you start building them up to say, like, oh, that is something I'm interested in, and so that's really, I think, the biggest piece that I'm interested in is what are people passionate about? How can I leverage that passion and get them to be more excited about learning more? Because I'm a librarian because I learn something every single day. I've never walked away saying, what a normal day that was.
Wow.
And that's what I love about my job. That's what gets me excited, even when it's really hard. Sometimes it's hard because we deal with a lot of the implications of what happens when our world is more commodified. But for me, it's just a way to say, what are you excited about? Ooh, I'm excited about that with you. Let's go figure that out together. And that's what a librarian gets to do every single day.
No, absolutely. And I think, like, no matter what your interest is, there is something for that interest. I mean, like, whatever, like fictions or facts or biographies or world war, like anything you can think of, there's somebody wrote a book about it.
Somebody wrote a book about it and then wrote 3 other weird books.
Like, yes.
And then they wrote something else that you were like, I didn't know I wanted to learn about that, but now I want to learn about that.
No, absolutely. No. So for me, like, I think it, like, when I see books are being banned and in the politics of it all, right? We see all these books being banned, and I'm thinking to myself, like, but how can you learn? Because you're right, like, learning about somebody else's culture, somebody else's worldview, somebody else's perspective, somebody else's lived experience, whether it's a fact or a fictional book, like, you learn so much. So this need to stifle that is, like, terrifying to me.
Yeah.
And, I think about when we travel to different places, and I went to Quebec, and even in Italy, like, the signs are in Italian. And I felt like handicapped, like, trying to understand that. And I was like, and like, okay, I'm in Italy. I'm not going to be the typical American, like, why isn't it in English? Because it's in Italy. So I didn't do like, I didn't do that. Believe me. But, like, thank God for Google Translate. But for me personally, like, I started to think, like, oh my God, like, folks who cannot read are going through this every single day.
Yeah.
How do they function?
Yeah. It is, and you think about, sometimes people think that people who might not be literate are less intelligent.
No.
But you can't survive a world where you don't see what's in front of you and you still figure it out and not be in your own way brilliant. And I think, like, I also often remind teams that I work with about, when it comes to, like, people who are coming from other countries to America, they're having that experience. And can you imagine the bravery it takes? Like, when we go travel, we're going travel with a amount of privilege, right?
100%.
This isn't when I was last year, I went to Japan.
Oh my.
Didn't speak a lick of Japanese. I tried so hard to recognize a single character, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But was able to navigate because of technology and because I had the privilege to have all those things. And other people are doing it who are walking up and not really knowing the sign is and having to use other contexts to say, how can I figure out what this is? But ultimately, we're really excited when people start that conversation as to learn And we have some really cool things that have happened lately with technology. There's these really special books that we have both in our children's space and in the adult space. And for those who are learning English, or they're called Wonder Books, and they're audio-enabled books. So they look like a regular book, but when you open it, the cover has this corner at the bottom, and that corner is the full audiobook of that book. So you can choose whether you want it to assist you in reading or just read to you. So you can start with that read to you, hit play, and then it'll tell you, a little ding when to turn the page. So that you are kind of starting that word recognition, the pattern recognition that you need to start building. And then you can switch it to the read pieces. So it starts you, prompts you, helps you get started, and then you're trying and you're sounding at words. So there are ways in which we at the library can help people who don't necessarily have the ability to read, whether it's they learned in a different language or if they made it through life without learning, which it happens.
It does happen. I mean, sometimes in the public schools, you do get missed. I mean, our teachers are underfunded and underpaid. So it's, sometimes challenging things like that. So I know we started talking about the library, but how did you get to Worcester Public Library as the executive director? So you were an English teacher. So how did we make the jump to English teacher librarian? I mean, it seems...
Well, I had this great librarian named, I think his name was Lawrence, at Stonehill College. But he was this guy that every time you went to him, he wouldn't give you, he'd be like, I need the answer to this. He'd be like, let me tell you the history of why you need that answer. And I'd be like, come on, I just want the answer.
Wrap it up.
But every time you talk to him, you're like, this guy knows so much.
Yeah.
So it was like, you would schedule your time to be like, oh, I only have 15 minutes and he's at the desk, I can't ask this question. Oh wait, I have an hour? I'm gonna go ask him that question. Because you could end up with him for 45 minutes. And I was like, what made you choose this?
Yeah.
And then he said, well, I have a master's degree in library and information science. And I'm like, what is that? And so I decided to go to library school to become a librarian.
There's a library school?
Yeah, so there's Simmons is the kind of best one around.
Okay.
Simmons College, university now, is college when I went there, but all women undergrad, all women business school, but the other grad schools are co-ed. So I went there for my library science degree.
Wow.
And then it's funny enough, my very first professional job, my first library job was in Middleborough, Massachusetts. I also worked at Regis College up in West End, Massachusetts. But when I finished my degree, I was able to get my professional master's degree job. It was at WPI.
Oh, okay.
And it was a very cool job. I loved working with those students, but I always wanted to be a public librarian. So I was like, you know what? I really want to work with diverse communities. I really want to give back to the benefit that I felt like growing up in a super diverse community, the things that I value, the people, the organizations, the cultures that I learned from, that all made me, all the things, the tapestry that made me me.
Absolutely.
So I want to work with as diverse as possible. I want to go to be a public librarian, and the first library that would hire me is Wellesley Free Library. So I might have missed that mark a little bit.
Okay.
It was a great library to work for. It was very fun.
Lovely.
But when the high schoolers were coming to tell me that the adults were talking too much, I knew that I was like, maybe I need to go a little bit more urban than I am.
Okay.
So I, tried, but ultimately was able to get a job in Marlborough to be their assistant director. And was able to write a grant for the new building they just finished their building about almost 9 years after I left. And and it takes time.
It does.
Buildings take time.
It does. It does.
And then I left Marlborough to go to Natick at the Morse Institute Library, where I had an amazing opportunity, such a fun community to work for. I became the library director there, and then this little thing happened that was called COVID. I don't know if anyone's familiar.
I heard about it.
Yeah. This little thing that happened called COVID, and I sat there and I reached out and I was like, how can we make sure all the kids have computers? And they were like, they already do. And I was like, oh, I'm in the wrong place.
Mm.
So I actually cold called the Worcester Public Library.
Yeah.
And you don't have a director. I know you don't have one. Can we talk? And that was actually a year ago, 6 years ago this June.
Wow.
And so I was able to interview and then get the job because I always knew I wanted to work with diverse and urban communities. And it took me a while to get to one, but I'm really excited that I am.
You're
and
home.
I'm able to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you have done, like, since like you have taken over at the Worcester Public, like there's just been so many different things. There've been national awards, there've been renovations, there's been so many different things. So let's talk about some of the initiatives and some of the things that, you know, in collaboration with your team that you guys have been able to accomplish.
Well, I think the biggest thing is now I'm known in the library world as the cat guy.
Okay.
That happened, which was weird. It was our March Meowness, and so that's one of my favorite things that happened in Worcester. Is I did this reorganization after 2 years, did a listening tour, figuring out what the staff need, what support they need, what resources we can reallocate when budgets across the board are all tough. How can we make the right decisions for this moment? And so I was really excited because the team came up with this idea of like, let's let the people who have lost books that can't afford to pay for that book just show us a picture of a cat and it's all forgiven. And I was like, so simple, but let's keep this like equity focus in mind. Let's go for it. And I remember I was in DC for an American Library Association's fly-in when we go advocate for federal funding for libraries. And I get this, I have my work phone and my personal phone, and both phones are ringing nonstop. And I'm in this training, and I'm like, what's happening? And so I have to like get up and leave. I'm like, why are
Like, yeah.
all right, I'm in a training. Stop calling me. And they're like, the BBC wants to talk to you. And I was like,
Wait, BBC?
yeah. I was like, BBC? What do you mean? They're like, well, we just got a New York Times, and now BBC is calling you. And we're like, what? British Broadcasting Company? And so I was in the MLK branch of the DC Public Library and sat in a meeting room and did my on-air live interview with the BBC. And they give you no prep. Like, I was like, I could have said anything. This is crazy. You're really putting all the trust in me.
I love it.
And then it just became this juggernaut where we had over 300 news articles from all over the world. We had
Really?
the community relations and marketing manager for the library, Linnea. She and I wrote an article for a text that was published in Korea about it. And so it's very funny to see like authored by the two of us, and it's just all in Korean. And we're like, I can't even read it.
I can't even.
But cool. I hope they translated it.
Love it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that was really fun. We won a lot of awards from that. We got first place in the world. In the world. So there's the International Federations of Library Associations.
Yes.
It's more fun than it sounds.
It's okay.
So they each year award one organization. Well, they do a top 3 of marketing projects in the world, and you know, that year we were first place. We beat out Singapore, and they have like a $220 million budget, and I was like, yeah, Worcester.
Is that the budget you got, Chase?
No. I could do a lot with that.
You could.
But the you know, we just chugged along to this free little project, and it ended up being something that was really special. And the real fun part has been just getting staff really excited about creative ways to serve their community, because we're all here I'm a public servant. That's my job.
Okay.
And my job is in service to this community. That service looks like literacy, bringing books into people's hands, getting them excited about reading, but also getting them excited about research, even when it's, oh, I don't really read, but then they want to know the history of their house, or they want to know the history of this building. Where are they going to go? Many of them start online, but when you hit a barrier, where should you go? I hope you're coming to the library.
Yeah.
So that's really what we've been trying to do. It's also been really fun. You mentioned awards, and so I have to plug that this year a New Americans librarian, a librarian named Caitlin Duncan. She was named by Library Journal as a mover and shaker for the field.
Okay.
So we're very excited in the May issue of Library Journal. But last year I was in that same issue, and so we're the smallest library to ever have a back-to-back
Wow.
winners of a mover and shaker. 50 librarians across the country
Wow.
are all the people who are shaking up and moving the field forward are named. And so it's a life designation. So Caitlin and I are both movers and shakers. So it's a really fun thing, and it's a really great honor to be part of that. And then, you know, we've had a lot of staff also win some of local awards. So like the Thomas Green Award, which is a public service award. We've had 3 wins in 3 years. So Caitlin won 1. Christina Connolly, who is our manager of community relations, is winning this year. And then last year, Linnea, our marketing person, won 1. So we're it's really funny. Christian King, Councillor King, had just asked at my budget hearing for the city for me to list all of the awards, and I was like, I like that you did that because that lets me brag a little bit. Anytime I can brag, I'm going to take that.
Absolutely. So, yes. No, absolutely. That's wonderful. I mean, I didn't know about all of them, but that's really, really lovely. And you guys have also done some renovations because the library had a facelift. And there's just so many different things. So, I mean, I'm going to allow you the opportunity to brag about the library, but I started going to the library when I was 16 years old.
Okay.
So picture this. I come from Jamaica. I don't know if you know the Golden Girls. It's like, you know, Sophia, the mother is just like, picture this, Sicily, 19 whatever. Yes, so picture this, 16 years old, fresh from Jamaica. And one of the first places I wanted to know was the library. And so I went to the library and I found out at the time you could take out 40 books.
Yeah.
It was the greatest day of my life. And
amazing.
I did take out 40 books and read it and like just kept taking out 40 books and just had my daughter actually recently had the opportunity. She found out she could take out 50 books.
Yes, I was going to make sure you knew you get up to 50 now.
Like it's up to 50. She's like, Mom. So the youngest is a reader. She's like, Mom, I got 50 books. And I'm just like, it's like just beautiful. But there's other things in the library, not just the 50 books at a time. But, you know, like there's meeting spaces and things like that. So how did the renovation come about? Was it a grant also, or? So
the good news is for the renovation is I got to celebrate it, but I didn't plan it. So you can't blame me if you don't like anything.
Okay.
That's my favorite line. No.
Okay,
so I
it.
started in the middle of the pandemic and the middle of the renovation.
Yeah.
And so I was able to help bring it forward. But ultimately, the renovation came from with all of the updates from downtown that were happening, and kind of in simultaneous time as Polar Park being built. There was the opportunity, and the city actually spent about $9 million on the renovation, with the Library Foundation covering about $4.5 million of that remainder. So it was about $13.5 million project. One of the things we did is we used to have that long walkway across the side. We folded that inside and added some meeting rooms for that space. We added about 8,000 square feet. We have our new Innovation Center. I don't know if you've had a chance to check out all the stuff in the Innovation Center, but we do a ton of teen and adult programmings in there. So everything from learning how to use a Cricut machine, so the like vinyl cut, to also making custom t-shirts, to just general craft stuff. We have 3D printers in there. We have a laser cutter in there, programs about all of those things all year. It also gave us a space to carve out our community resources area. And community resources area is where we help people learn English, but it's also where our social worker and our New Americans librarian meet with people who need that help. Actually, literally right now, it's usually the first Wednesday of every month. We have an immigration clinic at the library, so people can meet privately with lawyers pro bono for one meeting to ask their immigration questions. Whether they, what their immigration story is not our concern. That is not what a librarian is concerned about. We're concerned that you have access to the information. So we do all that kind of stuff. We have meeting rooms that are free for community members to book. But also one of the cool things that I don't know if you and your daughter know about is we have this new special collection. It's fairly new, called the Library of Things. Have you ever heard of the Library of Things?
No.
So, I mean, it's a terrible name because everything's a thing, right? This is the thing, I don't know. But the Library of Things is a special collection that we have curated, and they're in these like large display cases of various items that you can check out that are non-traditional books. They're not, so you can check out an electronic drum set. So if you were anything like me as a kid, that I tried everything for 5 minutes,
Yes.
which is why I'm a good librarian. I try everything for 5 minutes.
Yes.
But you know, for me, I want to try that instrument. I don't really like that. I want to try this instrument. I don't really like that. We have instruments. We also have everything you need for a summer party. So folding tables, cornhole sets, ring toss games, but also some really good stuff for homeowners. So radon detector. If you don't know what radon is, I'll do a separate talk about radon. But you know, radon detectors, things that you might need for simple home repair thing. So it's this collection. There's karaoke machines. There's speakers.
Really?
There's so it's this really what we tried to do was collect things so our community could try out things, but also be able to not buy something for one-time use. Help kind of reduce the waste that happens with the one-time use, but also make sure that our community has access to things that maybe they wouldn't have access to otherwise. Because it's a lot, you know, it takes a lot of money to throw a party. So I got to buy that folding table. Ugh, folding tables are $60 now. When did a folding table give them $60?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I'd love to have a speaker system. Oh, I don't have any speakers.
Wow.
I got to go buy speakers. Those are $300. And so now you can check those out from the library. So encourage people to check that out.
I'm thinking, do you have a sewing machine?
We have multiple sewing machines, but we also have sewing classes. If you
I want to learn.
Yeah.
I do want to learn. You know, I mean, I don't want to be a designer, but I think so. When I was a child, this was something that they taught in school. So, you know, I mean, I have the basic skill set. I can hem a dress or a pant or something like that. But I would certainly like to learn how to make a skirt. Yeah. But I don't want to make the investment of buying a sewing machine.
Well, you can check one out from the library.
Okay. Yeah. I will take you up on that. I'm so excited. Okay. All right. So, I mean, what are some of the other things that's like available? Because like summer's coming now, kids are going to be out of school. You know, some will have camp. You know, camps are expensive.
Camps are expensive. Yeah.
So what's there at the library for them to do?
So we're really going hard in on the programs this year. So we're doing a lot of programs, way more programs than before. So you see a lot of programs at all 7 branches of the library. So not just the main library downtown, but we have our 4 branches that are based in public schools. So they'll have special hours so that we can get as many kids from the neighborhoods to come to the library as possible. We also have our Francis Perkins branch, which is up in the Greendale area, just past what's now the Amazon fulfillment, but used to be the Greendale Mall.
Yes, yes.
And I'm really excited because our Great Brook Valley branch is having a major update that we're in the middle of right now. So our GBV branch, we've been in Great Brook Valley for 43 years. Have a small little branch, it's about 800 square feet. You know, it's not too much. You know, it's about the size of your studio, maybe a little bit bigger. Where we have kids every single day after school in there, creating safe space for these kids. As you know, their parents often working 2-3 jobs to make ends meet, and so with GBV, we're getting full new build. Will be part of the new Employment Opportunity Center for the Worcester Housing Authority. So we're going from 800 square feet to about 3,000 square feet. So significantly bigger. And that hopefully will be coming online for next summer. But for this summer, we're all about programs. And so I encourage everyone to check the mywpl.org. It's our library website to check for events. We'll have an app and a new website coming soon. Hopefully by the end of the summer, an app so you can always have it on your phone.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I already have my Libby.
Yes.
But okay.
Yes.
This is going to be about the libraries because Libby's for reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can also see like where you have, if you have a museum pass on hold, if you have a, if you have books waiting to be picked up, which books are due soon, so you can keep track of your daughter and the 50 books that she's got checked out. You know.
Can I just say thank you all for doing like you automatically renew the books?
Yes. Everyone always thinks that I'm so sorry for returning something late. And I'm like, we're the librarians are the worst.
Like
I
Yeah.
recently, a staff member was like, so you have a bill for a lost book, but I'm pretty sure it's in your office. And I'm like, it is.
It-
And he followed me to my office, and I had to hand it in shame to him. And I was like, sorry.
yeah.
So no judgment from
Okay,
us. No
good. Because
judgment.
I read the book and I'm like, I'm gonna bring it. It's in my car, but I will tell you, like, I'm the type of person, like, if a scene or a chapter was like really, really good, I'll go back and
Yeah.
like read it
Yeah.
like a couple of times. So, like, lately, if you guys are, I don't know when you started, but it was just like your book was automatically renewed. And I was like, thank you. I'm
Yes.
sick of giving you guys my dollars. So,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so,
You give plenty. The taxes should be enough. We
okay.
don't need a penalty.
Okay.
The automatic renew is working.
It is.
We're excited about it.
I'm
So.
very excited about
And
it.
I'm glad you're a Libby reader. I'm a big fan of Libby. I
Took
always
me a
have an
while.
audiobook. I don't read a lot on Libby. I listen a lot on
Oh.
Libby. So I'm a big audiobook fan.
So I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So it took me a while because I mean I love physical books, but again, so one year we were going on vacation and I had like 6 books and my bag was too heavy,
Yeah.
and I had to take it out,
Mhm.
and like I had these in my hand and my arm almost broke, and I had to have to leave all my books like on vacation. Like after I read it, I was like by the pool. I was like, "Hey, do you read? Here you go," and left it in the hotel room. And you know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's my books, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was just like I gotta get it. And he had bought me like it was Pan Digital before Kindle. It was
Okay,
this
yeah.
from Best Buy,
Yep.
and it took me forever. I was like, oh my god, like why did he buy this to me? Like is this the gift he really bought me,
Yeah.
and all of that. I know he's listening. And I was like, it took me a while. I was like, okay, and I was like, let me try it, and I did. And
Oh yeah. I bring when I go on vacation or I'm going on
Yeah.
a trip. It's
It's worth
ebooks
it.
because it's thin. It's easy to.
yeah,
easy to-
multiple.
Yeah.
multiple.
And if I finish a book on the plane, then I can start a next book and not be worried about
Yeah.
like, oh, let me go get my bag to get the
Yeah.
rest and all of that.
I know. Listen,
Yeah.
although I will say, like, so Libby is the library app that you can get books. If you have a library card, you can sign up and get books. And I have multiple books. You can only put 10 books on hold, FYI. And but like they will say like weeks and months, and then all of them come at once.
Yes, it's like
I'm not
What-
complaining,
it's.
but
I feel like we should name it like Libby's Law. That like everything that you have, it's like
Yes.
Murphy's Law. It's like Libby's Law. It's every book you have comes in instantly at the same time. You're like, no, pause.
But I don't want to pause because
Yeah.
I'm afraid that
It'll take too long to come back.
So I have 21 days, and I'm like rushing through like a Kristen Hanna book, just like 500 pages, and I'm like, I mean, it's fine, I do it, but I was like, Libby, I know you're playing with me, I know you're
Yeah.
testing me, but
Well, also, we go in and we look and we see, oh, so many people are on hold for that. Let's buy more copies.
yes, please.
And when we do that, we also sometimes people are like, you bought more copies. That's too fast. And I was like,
Yes.
but I want it to be faster.
I do.
Yeah.
Like,
It's-
yeah, you can't please us. Just an FYI.
It's just Libby's Law.
Like,
That's what I'm
Libby's
gonna
Law
call it now.
can't please us. So
Yeah,
we're like,
yeah.
oh my God, Libby, give me all 5 books at once. And I like, now I can't go out this weekend because I got to read this book. Not that I'm complaining,
Yeah.
but.
So they're saving you money. So there you
You
go.
are, because it's
So,
expensive outside.
It
So
is. It's
it's
expensively
so
go.
expensive. So I have my tea and I have my Kindle, and I'm
Yeah.
like reading, and I know I just have a couple of books on hold right now. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. So we're talking about Libby. One of the experiences I had, so I went through the Leadership Worcester program, and we went to a couple of the schools, and several of the schools do not have a library, which genuinely broke my heart. But I know that Libby does, like the bus Libby, not the app,
Yes.
like travels around and goes to the school and things like that. So
Yeah, well, I'm really excited to share that there's been a lot of progress. The schools have been, and I've been collaborating a lot with the schools lately.
Yeah.
They're really excited about the new superintendent and being able to kind of move some of these things forward. So we have 2 bookmobiles, Libby and Lily. So Libby's the big bus,
Yes.
Lily's the little bus, and Lily's kind of like a size of one of those like 10-foot U-Haul. So not small, but
No.
not huge. So they go to all the elementary schools except for the 4 One City, One Library branches where we already run a public library out of it. So we already run a public library out of Goddard, Tatnick, Roosevelt, and Burncoat elementary schools. And then, and so we have the buses going to those other schools. But I'm really excited because the schools are prioritizing building libraries for the first It's either 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that. But I was actually just this morning at Nelson Place, working on what the layout of that library is going to be. So they'll have a dedicated library with dedicated library time at Nelson Place. They're also getting that at the dual magnet school. There's a really strong parent group there that's been doing really great, where I was able to get them some funds. They've been able to get their own funds, to get some private funds to build schools. So school library is actually starting to come, which I'm really excited about. But we are still serving all of the others with the bookmobiles, dropping off books to kids, having them come onto the bookmobiles. But there's nothing really beating their ability to just go have library
Go into
time
library,
every week. And that's what I'm really excited about. So there's a number of schools hopefully coming online next year, next fall. So they're hiring librarians, and I hear that they're starting interviews of librarians now, which I'm over the moon about.
I know, that's exciting.
And I'm really excited to have more librarians in the city of Worcester, more people able to connect with kids with books and get them excited about books. It's interesting, there was a study that came out from HarperCollins, so they're a book publisher, a major book publisher, so you also have to, remember when we're reading that they paid for that study, so they have a vested interest in that study, and they want to make money. That's their job. But they produced a report in this past April that was showing that because kids aren't getting fun with reading, they're reading less because they're only seeing it as like a punishment. So we need to change that narrative. We need to make sure that kids have fun with reading and are able to say, yes, I'm going to read this, but I also want to read the thing that I'm really interested in. And so that's why I'm really excited about the bookmobiles being able to go out to all the schools, but also making sure the kids see the bookmobiles in the summer at the different parks. That'll be something that they see as well this summer. And so that they can just find Libby and Lily in the wild and be able to check a library book out wherever they are. And I'm really excited to see the schools start getting some librarians, because we are, our kids need it and they deserve it.
No, they absolutely are right. I'm excited. I'm really excited because honestly, I remember having a conversation. For me, that was one of the saddest part. The schools. I mean, they didn't have the capacity, right? They didn't have a library. But I was glad that Libby was going around. But I was just like, oh my goodness, I don't know how would I function. And when I was growing up, if my school didn't have a library, because it was everything to me, and I assume a lot of kids, again. So then, if your only access to books is when you're doing an assignment, you're right, it's not fun. I didn't really enjoy reading my textbooks. So
I didn't either.
It is what it is. But did I hear you say so? The Libby, they will be at the summer fairs and things like that. And, wonderful.
So we're still finalizing all the schedules, but we're trying to do a lot more where people are gathering throughout the summer, jumping onto that, making sure that we can give. And we also have a new our book bike, so I'll be using some of the book bike a little bit.
Wait, so we gotta ride a bike?
I have a bike that has a bucket in the front.
Okay.
That's all library.
Okay.
And I can fit 400 books in it.
Okay.
It's pretty hard to pedal when you have 400 books in it. But we'll be bringing that out to a lot of the kind of closer things.
Good.
So we'll bring it to a lot of out to lunches
and
all that stuff throughout the summer, so that kids can get books. Usually with the book bike that we did all the L names and had all the kids vote, and kids voted for Luigi. So we have Libby, Lily. We have a van called Louie, named after Louis Braille. And now we have Luigi, and I pedal Luigi around, and I give out free books. So
that is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, it gets pretty heavy, and one time someone had helped push me up a hill, but that's okay. My pride isn't that strong.
Not at all. At that point, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna push this thing, and it's okay. I'm okay not being able to ride that Luigi up a hill. All right, awesome. So I know you mentioned, a couple of the fairs that you're going to be at. So you guys typically do the library block party. Is that something that you guys are going to do again this year?
Yes, the block party is actually moving from August to the fall. So it'll be the final Saturday of September.
Okay.
It's going to be called Harvest in the City. Well, it'll still be the Worcester Public Library Block Party presents Harvest in the City. So we're going to what we realized last year, especially last year was, I think, our 5th year doing library block party. And in that it's always usually really hot.
Yes.
There's always a lot of competing summer events.
Mm-hmm.
We always try to schedule around a Woo Sox game, but something gets rescheduled and there's a Woo Sox game. That's fine. And usually I get at least 2 sunburns because there's, you know,
Yes.
I don't have any melanin. So we're moving to the fall, and because one thing we realized as we did like this like look at okay, what do kids in our community have access to? We were seeing like all of the fall fest stuff doesn't really something that kids get access to, and like it's funny when we talk to kids about their times in the library. Like one of my favorite things is like you can talk to a 6th grader about like, oh, remember when we had they'll remember we often hatch chicks in our branches. We like get little incubators and have the kids put in names. 6th graders will remember every single chick by name from kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th, and it's like, okay, so when we bring Gilbert the party pig in, kids lose their mind over Gilbert the party pig. It's just a pig, but he eats things and it's a pig, right? It's a pig.
We're adults. We've lost that.
Yeah.
That, you know.
And so what we're going to do is try to really embrace that, like, what do our kids not have access to, and go a little bit, and hopefully make it a little bit cooler for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's not so. I mean, I always feel like it's 100 degrees during our block parties, and I'm like
It is.
losing weight and just like chugging water to just keep barely dehydrated. So we're adjusting a little bit, and trying not to compete with anything. Right now, there's not a single other thing on the calendar for that
good.
final.
Put it out
piece.
early, so
Yeah,
like
so we put
do
it out
not
early.
block it.
Yeah.
Like yes.
So Harvest in the City final Saturday of September. So hopefully a little cooler, but it's definitely coming back. We're
Wonderful.
excited about it, and we'll have a lot of fun things. And right now I'm trying to work on some funding to get maybe some free rides for people.
Wonderful.
Like, you know.
No, it's lovely. I vended there a few years, and I don't think I know I didn't vent last year. I don't know if I did the year before, and it was a free event. When I was just starting out with my business, and have the opportunity to go and vend, and the safe space, the bathroom is there if you want to use it, and things like that. That's what was one of my biggest concerns, like when you do an event, and it's not all day. It's like not a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That was helpful, unless you changed it to 9 to 5 now, and then I was like, sorry.
It's a like 3.5 hour block.
It is,
but enough time to make it worth it, but not too much time that you're like
wrap it up, dude. I'm done. So that's like, because I did like at that 7th hour, I'm like, you're done.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I want to go home.
Even the people who are visiting are like, I'm done.
But for real, so no, it is lovely. We have an amazing time. I think our executive producer have a question for us. Is an audience member have a question?
We have Jennifer chimed in. She says, hi, she's loving the conversation. But she also says, yes, how can we provide more access to kids and opportunities that we always,
Imagine, yeah.
Okay.
In the context of events, or in the context, it's hard to go back and forth. So I'm going to go in the context of events, I think. Because I think that remains one of our biggest issues, is that our kids, like when you think about, I'll kind of jump back to something I brought up in the innovation center, is like the 3D printing. Is some kids are able to go to schools where they have access to 3D printing. And so what is 3D printing? And oftentimes people are like, this is so crazy. And it's just a glue gun on steroids. It's melting plastic into a new shape. And so the technology there is teaching kids and teens and adults on how to use the software itself, because the power and the knowledge is in the software. It's not in the application. You don't really need to know how a copier works for a copier to work, but the important piece is the product that you're going to copy. And, so that's something that we're kind of always looking at the library, trying to figure out ways to, what are our kids saying that they want to see? What do they want to learn about? What do they want to hear about? And then keeping that curiosity mindset so that they become a reader like you that say, oh, I thought about that place. Now I read about that place. Now I want to go visit that place. If you have the means, and if you don't have the means, how can we as a community say, okay, we're going to make sure that our students are having access to the same things that their their peers in affluent communities or their peers in affluent areas of the same community have access to. So for us, it's about listening in on what kids want to learn, and then really digging in on those pieces and making sure that the kids have the opportunity and that we're finding funding so that all of that is always free and open to everyone, because everything in the library has to be free. That's what we are. That we are a free public library. I get asked a lot of the question a lot, how much does this cost? Everything is free. This is free. Free.
I love it.
And our kids deserve it.
They do.
And so, if, I'll take a look at the comments also to see if there are any suggestions on things, if people want to see particular programs, they want their kids to learn more about sewing, more about animals. I mean, one of our favorite places that we bring in for programming is the Poop Museum. Yeah, it's as gross as it sounds. No,
okay, I'm just checking.
It's all about animal poop.
Okay.
And so it helps, lets kids learn about it, because kids like, ew, gross. And they also like that. And so, the kids get to dissect owl pellets, learn more about how animals, and some animals poop different colors, and why do they poop different colors.
Fascinated.
And then they give them their official certificate that say they're a member of the Poo Crew.
Okay.
As a fellow member of the Poo Crew, I can attest to that document. And so for us, it's about listening to our community, saying, what do you want to learn? What do you need more information on? Knowing that we don't have infinite funding, but my job is to go out there and try to find that funding. And that's been something that we've had a lot of success with, and we'll keep pushing a lot of events and programs throughout the year so that parents say, what can I do for free with my kid? And I hope that they think about the library when they think
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for the question, and thank you for answering that and honestly going above and beyond. And I'm okay not being a member of the Poo Crew. And
missing out.
I think I am. I think I do know. I think cow poop could be used as fertilizer or something like that. That part I did know, and I think that's enough. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that part. So are you guys doing any drives to kids to sign up for library cards or things like that? Is that something that you guys have thought about, have done, or?
So we actually had a 2-hour meeting about library cards today, so fresh on my mind.
Okay.
So we really try to push some library card signups in September in particular, making sure kids are ready. Anyone can always get a library card. You can also get a library card instantly online. It's an e-card, but you can, if QCC student goes, oh, I need that research paper from that's available online through the Worcester Public Library. They can, at 2 a.m. when they're doing it, even though it's due at 7 a.m., they can sit down. I was a college student, I remember. No judgment. They can log on to MyWPL, get a library card instantly, log in with that library card, and get all the access to all the resources. But we're working on some really fun new ways to get kids excited about it. We're talking to schools about ways to make sure that all students have access to books. And as quickly and with as low barriers as possible. So a lot of those things are kind of we're gearing up for our very big push in September, but anytime people can always get library cards.
All right, wonderful.
And, we do, and the cool thing about our library cards is we have 5 of them right now.
Yeah.
That you can choose which design you want.
I saw the cat.
And there's the cat, but there's also some designs that made by local artists.
Oh.
So you can pick there's one made by it was this young girl walking through with an umbrella, and there's books raining over, and a child drew that, and so she drew that, and now that's on our library card, and we have thousands of library cards. We have a teenager with a manga book that was drawn by a teenager, and then we have an adult cat one that's been drawn.
Lovely.
And so we're trying new ways to connect with people and find new ways to get people to know about their library, that we have hundreds of events month, and everything from really interesting, hard computer programming classes to just fun crafting, sewing, making fun things, learning how to make your own coffee mugs, learning what to do with that empty wine bottle, how to upcycle it. And so we're always trying to get more people to come to the library to learn about what we're doing, and then hopefully check out a book or two while they're there. Or 50.
Or 50. You could get 50. Right. I love it. And I was like, I knew that we were going to have a lot to talk about. And I know that our time is running short. And there's like 2 more questions I wanted to ask you, about the library. So, and I'll say this, and I know that you had mentioned, about reading books and if you have the ability to travel. But what I will say that there's so many great authors from Massachusetts, and I always get like such a thrill when I read books and they have Worcester in it, or like different spaces. So I don't even have to leave Worcester to find stories. So that's the thing you could do. Read books where the authors write about Worcester, and it's so cool to like, oh my God, that was in my book. So just an FYI. And so I've been to the author event. So you guys do an author event, I think once a year, I think through your foundation board. Fantastic. So, I mean, it's going to happen next year?
It's going to happen next year, and we have a huge name coming.
Oh my God.
So excited.
And I know you guys can't share it, so I won't ask, but I can't wait.
Name,
I can't wait. I mean, if it's Kennedy Ryan, I'm okay with that. Barack Obama, Michelle Obama.
I can afford an Obama. If you give me a little bit more money, I could probably
Okay, all right, Obama, I'm just Oprah. I'm just saying, I'm throwing all these
not
people.
That big. We'll just reel that one in.
Any author, like last year you had Christina Forrest. Love her. Yes. And she's actually has a new book. She talked about it last year. I'm actually going to go see her next Monday at Love Struck.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I'm going to go see Tia Williams next Wednesday. I mean, I will travel for an author. Like, I love reading. I mean, I think we've established that. All right. Final question in regards to your role. What has been the most surprising thing that you have learned?
The most surprising thing? Oh, wow. You ended with a real tough question. I think the thing that I would say was most surprising to me was how quickly this community embraced me. I think that was the thing that I didn't expect, because I've been a librarian I started working in libraries 17 years ago. So it's been some time. It's been a good portion of my life.
Just a few times.
But the kind of moment I showed up in Worcester, everyone was kind of like, actually there was a literal time where I was at an event where someone went on either side of me and like moved me towards, oh, I got to introduce you to this person. And I was like, who are you? And so this community is I think like the big C community and the little C community is everywhere. And Worcester is really unique and special because people are always looking to create a connection with you rather than waiting for you to make a connection with them. And that's been a real blessing that I am really deeply thankful for, because I think that was the thing. I thought that I would have to fight more to be noticed. But sometimes I'm like, nah, I'm busy enough. We're good. We're good.
Like, don't include me anymore. I'm good.
So I think that would be my most surprising.
All right, awesome. And so that's our question. Thank you so much for sharing on the library. So I have to end with a Jason question, because you're a person outside of your role. So during the show, I learned about your love of socks, or before the show, and your love of Aaliyah. What is it that you do for self-care? Like, you're taking care of all of us. What do you do for self-care for Jason?
I am deep into Lego. I love Lego sets. When I was a kid, I had my grandmother gave me this piggy bank that was like Goofy, and he was driving a car, and what I would do as a kid is I would keep track of what I was putting in there on the windshield of Goofy, to know when I was able to buy a Lego set. And then I would white it out and start over again. And so now as an adult, I do that same thing, but I'm a little more frivolous with it. So I like to listen to a sound bath, or some like just solid. I will also do like a nice little 90s R&B playlist, as that's like my everything I ever want to listen to.
The better generation.
I mean, like if it's just like Brandy radio, Aaliyah radio, Monica radio, that's what I'm listening to. And then and then just build Lego, do a couple of bags of these large sets. And so I have a lot of Lego sets throughout my house. They've started to spill into my office because my husband says I can't have any more display space for my Lego, but I bought 2 more, so
Sorry.
hopefully he's not watching
No,
this.
not at all. Like, it's private. It's just me and you.
Yeah, it's us.
Like, yeah, it's just us. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, for sharing, about the library, and, hopefully inspiring more kids to, and adults too, to love reading. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It has been. I can't believe the time flew. Like, we're over an hour. So, like, yeah, it's okay. He's used to me. So thank you all for tuning in. I truly appreciate you, and those who wrote a comment, certainly we'll look at it. And if there's a question that I have to shoot to Jason, we absolutely will. Thank you for subscribing, for liking, for sharing, for connecting, for recommending guests. Shout out to our executive producer, Paul Anderson. We appreciate you week after week. And as always, the show is made incredible because of the phenomenal people that I have on as guests. And today I was lucky to chat with someone who works in a space that I absolutely adore. So until next time, this is Positively Suzanne and
Jason Homer.
ta-ta.